Kagalitan yun. But, nilagay mo ko dito, pakiramdam ko ngayon si Jesus Christ. Nagigil na ako ng dalawang. Last chapter. Okay, particular yung trabaho na to. So, kailangan ng bahagyang paliwanag bago ko ibigay sa inyo. Yung UIA kasi ay laging cute, pero hindi naman yun napapunta ng marami ng changes. Yung isang katangian dito, yung pagiging transgressive. Yung transgressive writing, yung i-test yung patience mo, yung limit mo. Yung bastos, sabi niyo pwedeng hindi i-discuss, yung masama. Yung kasi tinitignan ko yung majority ng trabaho binasa ko. Kaya tayo humahaba yung diskusyon. Yung hindi makalabas ng kahon yung mga characters. Laging nandoon sa kanilang mga comfort zone. So, ang isang kung gusto mo yung magandang istorya, ilagay mo over the edge yung character, paborito sabihin ni Butch Dalita yun. Yung character mo matatransform. So, lagyan mo ng maraming barrier. Parang yung may nililigawan, kaya kang sagutin. No? Dalhin mo sa tabi ng bangin. Sagot ka o hindi. No? Mag-decide yun. Kung hindi, patay na lang sa sagutin ka. Yung mga ganong sitwasyon. Pagkatapos, may isa pang katangian, yung piyesa na to, yung evolution ng urban poor writing sa Pilipinas. Kasi yung Pilipinas, third world, 80% nito poor. So kung sinasabi mong reflective yung panulat sa society, pwede mo rin hanapin yun. Saan yung urban poor sa Philippines. Again, iisa lang yung alam ko kayang gumawa sa Pilipinas. Hindi sa isinabit kay Neil Garcia sa likaan. Hindi naintindihan ni Neil Garcia. Kasi walang gumagawa ng ganon. Why urban poor? Kasi pag tinignan mo yung sa probinsya, rural poor naman yun eh. Kaya wala naman nag-discuss nun. Malimit pag-ibig lang yung problema ng literature, no? Yung kaya pag-ibig yung mga maputibindi, matangos ilong, saka putis ko sila na. Yung urban poor na yun, pag pumunta ng rural poor, pag pumunta ng city, magiging urban poor. Poor pa din. Hindi pa rin mag-resolve, pupunta yun ng abroad, OFW, poor pa rin. So yung mga ganong phenomena, nawawala sa Pilipinas. Ang dami-dami pang paksa na pwedeng i-develop sa Pilipinas. Okay? Yun yung general background. Para sa pangangailangan ng trabaho na to, naglista na ako, para sa kanya to, paano natin titignan yung trabaho niya, pwede rin na ma-apply sa inyo. Paano gumawa ng conflict? Kasi pag walang conflict, magiging essay yan. Wala kang nire-resolve. So yung conflict mahalaga. Para magka-conflict, dapat may drama. Kaya yung lecture ni Glenn na yung beginning, middle, end, no? Lagyan mo na doon. Para yung end, nalutas mo yung conflict, yung drama. May dalawang drama. Yung dramatic condition at saka yung dramatic situation. Pag hindi malinaw ito, yung dramatic condition lang ang makikita. Yung dito maraming gano'n eh. Yung problema ng ibang tao o yung problema na hindi naman problema. Yung dramatic situation, unahin ko muna, yung even as we sit here now, meron tayong kanya-kanyang problema kahit nakaupo tayo. For all you know, meron kang iniisip na dapat na ginagawa mo, hindi mo ginagawa, panood ka lang ng panood ng Stephen Philip. Gano'n na. Sabi naman, inom lang ng inom. No? Actually, ang problema namin, pang inom, hindi yung yung mga gano'n, yung dramatic condition, yung conflict na nangyayari sa buhay mo na dapat i-resolve. Yun yung dramatic situation. Na yun talaga problema ng fiction. ano yung dramatic situation na dapat i-resolve ng central character mo. Pag na-resolve niya yan, tapos na. Yung dramatic condition, dito nagkakahirap-hirap. Kung kailangan, para maging dramatic, kailangan maraming patay-patay, kailangan may puta, may adik, may pulubi. So yung mga ganon, i-interpret mo yung pulubi, pero yung sensitivity middle class, o false drama yun. Pagtingin mo yung, ano ba, nabibigyan ko exercise, ano yung problema ng pulubi doon sa Betiapo? Ang sasabihin, isa may overpass, ang sasabihin ng problema doon, wala pagkain. Hello, yung mga tugay ang nabibili ng pagkain, yung pulubi kahit ano kakainin. O ang problema nun, yung tirahan. Hello, Burkis lang, ano mong problema ng tirahan? Yung aking weekend house, yung aking guest house, etc. Pag bibigyan ko yun ng dramatic situation, ipagpalagay mo yung pulubi doon sa overpass na maghapon lang nakaupo doon na iihi. Saan iihi yun? Hindi naman papapasukin sa Jollibee. Hindi naman siya pwede kumihiro sa paketa sa baba. Kung maglalakad naman siya sa may Idol Pasig, ang layo, bawal din. Yung halimbawa na yun, sa ganun, na-humanize mo tuloy yung character. Pag na-humanize mo na, everything is credible. Yung danger, yung mga binabanggit ko doon sa material na itatouch natin, kapag wala ng restrain yun, na ang dami-daming yung mga patay-patay, kahirapan, yung kaiyak-iyak na kalungos-lungos na kalumbay-lumbay, magiging melodramatic. Pag hindi mo pa nalutas yung melodramatic, ang ending nun, magiging poverty poor. So ano yung pagkakaiba, i-resolve natin, yung urban poor writing at poverty poor. So yung exposure mo ng kahirapan, ay kahirapan lang para bumenta yung ginagawa mo yung parang kay Brillante. Poverty porn lang yun. Pero kung ini-expose mo to para makita yung bigger picture. Halimbawa, yung kahit middle class naman, pwede ka naman makatrabaho, pero hindi ka naman makakabili ng reasonable na kondo o magandang kotse. Kailangan mong mag-racket-racket, no? Kailangan mong gumawa na kung anong bagay na hindi mo gusto mong gawin. So, yung pag-discuss mo nun, may nakikita ka. Kaya lagi kong sinasabi yung central character, ano man ang gusto niya, magiging ideological. Kasi kung ano yung gusto niya, yun yung mangyayari. Lahat ng paggalit niya, mamamatay, papatayin ng writer sa gulo. No, ang matitira lang, yung gusto na, yung vision ng writer. So, hindi ko hahabaan yung gusto kong sabihin. But rather, yung lahat ng pinanggit ko ay mga guide lang kung paano natin ito titignan. Sabi ko nga, kung sakit yung writing, ako prognosticating. Yung ginagawa ko ngayon. No? Ito yung mga sintomas na nakita ko dito sa trabaho. Tapos, si Angeli naman, ang una kong mag-react dahil doktor siya, hihinga ko siya ng prescription. And later on, yung ating ina-analyze, kumari lang pasyente ka. Kasi bata ka naman, so kailangan ng extra care. Kung first story mo ba ito? First material? 18 ka na? Di ba dapat magtitiko ka lang? Ginagawa mo dito, no? Sabi ka pa rin. Hindi. Actually, nakakainis siya. 18 lang na kaya niya nang mag-isip ng isang buong nobela. And because it is not even bad. No, but then, yung being young, paano ba sasabihin mo? Being young and blah blah is not a crime. No? So, pag kami mga shortcomings, daming tutulong sa... Okay.
Medyo na-pressure po ako na hindi na ako kapit sa prescription. Okay. Diba? Kasi, when I first approached yung material, so reading lang, I went straight kasi dun sa chapters. Sinip ko muna yung buod and yung balangas mo. Diretso ko dito sa. So, ang first kong reaction to it was, ang lungkot, sobrang lungkot. Yun talaga yung parang naramdaman ko habang binabasa ko yung mga kabanata ni DJ. Um, Bukod sa lungkot, naramdaman ko yung sobrang bigat niya. Why, no? Because ang dami niyang, yung word ko dito, very heavy themes. Yun. Tapos, attempt akong ilista silang lahat. So, yung material ni DJ, there are mentions of abortion, child abandonment, child abuse, statutory rape, sexual harassment, suicide, drug addiction, bullying, among a lot of other things, no? And I noticed lang na uh, parang per chapter, parang nagdodrop ka ng new issues without actually resolving the ones you mentioned previously. So parang padagdag yung things na being experienced by Totoy, but we don't actually really see how this is fleshed out, how he reacts to it. Kumbaga pag yun nga, if we're thinking about this as an illness, we don't actually see yung reaction niya to the illness and how this affects him as a person, how it makes him grow, parang gano'n. And as a reader, parang medyo na-confuse ako. So, what is the writer trying to tell us by doing this? Giving us issue over issue without actually developing it or elaborating on it. Is it my job to think about it ba? Parang burden ba yun on the readership? That's something to think about. Also as a reader and siguro speaking na rin as a health professional, I found your first two chapters very interesting because you gave thought and a mindset to an unborn fetus. That was really interesting, I found. I couldn't help but be reminded of there's a very ages-old debate about the origin of life because DJ gave may isip na agad yung fetus. He was able to react to what was happening around him. So parang that was interesting for me, and I was actually interested on how this would affect Totoy with succeeding chapters, no? Knowing na may nangyari pa ng ganun at the start of his life pa lang. However, nung dumating na ako sa medyo end, lots of mixed feelings ulit. The last chapter excerpt of, I think that was chapter 14, yung binigay mo, it did not really sit well with me yung ending. Parang siguro it's because nga skinip ko yung outline. No? So parang, what happened? Biglang naipon na ba lahat ng issues na yun ni Roto and then he just decided to do that. Yung parang, doon na lang umabot yung naipon na lahat yung nangyari sa kanya. And then that's when I went back to your synopsis and chapter ending. And then I realized na apparently may intent si DJ na to actually tell a story within a story. There's actually a narrator who's a writer who's telling the story of Totoy pala. And apparently chapter 14 is not how the novel will end. And there's actually a another chapter that would tell us the truth of what happened. So, ang unang reaction dito as a reader ay, so everything I supposedly read was all a lie pala. Parang gano'n. So, unang-una, sino ba tong narrator na to? And why did he feel the need to tell this story of Totoy? Or rather, parang continue his life through this story. Kumbaga, kasi apparently, natapos na yung lahat sa kanyang unang pagkahulog pala. So, apparently, yung start ng chapter, that was not how it was supposed to end. It was just how the narrator chose to tell it. So, parang, there was a lot of confusion on my part. Hindi ko ma-feel kung why that had to happen. But I really like how DJ writes certain passages. I think there's something poetic about the way he phrases some of his words, no? And knowing that you started writing this when you were just 15, sobrang medyo na mind blown ako. For someone so young, you were able to have this sort of deep understanding of the world and these kinds of thoughts. It's parang, I give you props for it. Thank you.
Summary lang ng mahaba sinabi ni Angelique para makontextualize. Ang nakita agad ni Angelique, ang daming subplot. So, ang daming issues ng mga tao na dinidiscuss na tama ba yung understanding ko? Tinatanong ni Angelique, ano ngayon? Ano yung issue mo? So, issue nila yun eh. So, the issue nila, mapapatiwakan ka. No? Yung gawa ang issue mo para kang makarating doon. Pangalawang nakita ni Angelique yung bakit ganito, sinitong unreliable narrator na ito, yung paano mag-operate yung metafiction. So, yun muna yung siguro yung mahahalagang punto na pwede natin i-address dito. Tapos siguro para mas marami tayong matakil, pagka yung nasabi na yung isang point at na naklaro na, jump na tayo sa ibang point para yung kanyang, ang end dito Toto, no? Just one Pokrabila. Sige, open na tayo sa discussion. Kung pwede ituro nyo para makatulong sa writer, which particular section are you addressing to pag nakita yung problema, yung ayaw nyo, ang expect ko sagot nyo, how to tackle the issue. How do we resolve yung mga nakikita ng issue. Bukas na tayo para sa ating karakay.
Okay lang, kung magsimula. Okay. So natuwa ko yung buong parelisyon ng pagkahulog na figure category kaya nakakapag simula ko. Na ang buong circular ness of it, na nagagat siya, pag hindi siya nagagat, magagat pa rin siya kahit nabuhay siya. Which I really appreciate and really like. Ang struggle ko is mostly with the first two chapters that I have here, yung sa Igaga. Dahil natutuwa ako nung bigibability nung nagkukwentong fetal child and then the baby. Hindi dahil sa meron siyang consciousness, hindi ko hindi iniisip ng consciousness niya. Na halimbawa, chapter 2, merong siyang moments of nostalgia sa pagbalik sa hospital. Parang 2-year-old nostalgia, that's 2 days, baby's nostalgia is 2 days ago. That's parang, I'm not sure if a baby would be capable of nostalgia if it had consciousness. So, ang suggest ko ay isipin natin ulit kung totoo nga may consciousness ito, na nagsisimula, na nakakasipong pala, anong klase ng mga emosyon yung magkakaroon siya pag nangyayari sa mag-isip ko. Kasi I don't, hindi, natawa ako, natanggal ako sa narrative kapag mayroong ganong thoughts yung first person view mo na nawawag na hindi ka panipaniwala na okay.
Pero i-discourse agad natin yung ganyan. Paano kung yun yung Yung metafiction nga yan, yung narrator, yung writer nakikialam sa istorya. Paano ko intentional yun? Paano natin
Ang sunod rin ko doon kasi kung hindi pa siya apparent sa simula ng metafiction, so baka ma-pull.
Ang ibig sabihin, yung device na yan, magtatalo yun eh. Realistic yung kanyang gustong approach. Wala naman balak yan maging realistic. Nung maliwanag to, naliluloko ka ng author. So, ang siguro, credible ba siya sa panluloko niya? Baka yun yung masakit na
I think that might be, baka yun nga yung nag-trigger ng confusion ko ng struggle studio. Isa rin yung, sa chapter out guy, yung parang nangyayari lang sa kanya yung mga bagay. Yun yung isa sa mga parang yung agency nito ay nawawaga o yung ginagawa niya sa mga bagay na nangyayari sa kanya. So, yun yung naman yung nasa akin din.
Magandang pag-umpisa. Sino ba yung gusto mag-discuss nung sa ganong bago tayo tumalong sa iba pang content? Yes, po.
Balikan ko lang po yung part nung sa meta-fiction. Ako, mas doon ako sa side ni Sir Jun na sa part na, for me,
Ikaw wala akong side. Moderator ako.
Sa side na naman.
Nag-provoke ako.
Sa side naman, paniniwala ng may akta doon sa, yung sa part na, yung binigay niya ng consciousness. Sa akin, okay lang sa akin yun. Pero dun sa part na pagiging credible ng consciousness, DJ may ipo-point out lang ako kasi kunyari, ako, sige, tinanggap ko na na may, una sa lahat, ngayon ang unang araw sabi ko, paano mo na ako? Tawag yan, binigyan ng consciousness yung sanggol, pero, ganito, yung word na anino, kunwari, yung word na anino, doon, medyo nasabit na ako doon, kasi, sanggol siya, so binigyan siya ng consciousness, pero gaya nung na-mention mo sa earlier lines, ang una niya pala nakikita, dilim lang. So yung concept ng anino dapat, kahit may consciousness siya, wala pa yun. Kasi magkakaroon ka lang ng anino pag may ilaw na. Yan lang. Yan lang sa part na yun.
Okay. Actually, nabigay kami ng papa. Bukas na tayo, pwede na kayong mag-discuss. Si DJ, nakita ko nagtataas ng kulay kanina eh. Tapos, Kat, ikaw din. Okay. So, pag gano'n na parang role ko lang.
Passing the torch.
Sige.
Kita fiction rin. Yung para sa structure yung puna ko. May sinulat ako dito na para is yung matulungan siya sa pag-revise niya. Kasi kung may metafiction siya, tapos kasi dito sa may part na yung XB na 15, chapter 15, kasi parang may twist mag-iba ang persona ng novela, yung lahat ng isang novela, ang tunay nangyari sa buhay ni Totoy. Kasi nasa synopsis naman sinabi naman na yung si Totoy daw magpapakamatay pero bubuhayin siya ulit ng nunulat. So sa akin, wag lang para ma-revise niya, para hindi mag-cause ng confusion sa simula pa lang, gawin niya obvious na nagme-metafiction siya. Sa simula pa lang, gawin niya obvious kung sino yung manunulat niyon. Na parang ipoporsyado niya yung yun. Basta, hindi ko alam kung ano yung dapat niya gawin. Basta ang requirement is kung mag-metafiction ka, kailangan aware na may writer doon na nag-interview sa story tapos meron siyang ganun. And then, doon, itahit niya yung story. Yung imagine ko sa pag-revise kanya parang yung style na yung first chapter, yung si author na yung attempt niya sa present moment ina-attempt niya buhayin yun. Tapos yung parang i-relate sa buhay niya. Tapos next chapter naman tungkol na kay Totoy na mismo. Tapos yung gano'n, yung parang nagduduwal-duwal na siya. Parang yung may layers na yung kada chapter. Na parang mayroong duality na nangyari na yung buhay ni author na nagsusulat kay Totoy may echo rin sa Totoy na chapters na nakafocus doon. Yung parang ganun. Pero suggestion lang naman Ang punto is, sa simula pa lang gawin mo obvious na nag-metafiction na siya. Kasi, kung may manunulat, kasi yung mga nababasa ko ng mga metafiction na nag-involve ng mga manunulat, obviously na beginning na yung deceit na may author na nagpapakilala na author siya tapos susulat siya. Pero doon ka na mag-innovate at saka kailangan mo rin magbasa rin talaga ng mga bakong na yung mga metafiction para malaman ko muna yung kung ano yung ina-achieve noon at saka kung saan ka mag-innovate. So, yun lang po sa
Hi, DJ. Hi, po. Ayun. So, una, comment din kita dun sa work mo kasi, very young, very update, you're very young, pero I feel like, it's very ambitious din. Ako na-appreciate ko yung, kakaiba yung POV niya na, yun nga simula sa, fetus pa lang siya, meron na siyang ganitong consciousness. So, ako, willing akong bilhin yun. Siguro there are some points lang na, which I think they already mentioned some. Ako, ipo-point out ko lang siguro. Although ito yata parang medyo tumanda na siya ng konti. Yung allegory of the cake, for example, parang hindi ko maisip kung paano siya, yung character, paano niya nalaman yun at that age para maikumpara niya doon. Siguro, yun yung mga some moments lang na, kasi yun nga, willing akong bilhin, ano lang siya, baka lang minsan, pumapasok yung narrator. So yun lang siguro parang, be more consistent. I think you can choose na yung narrator ba na hindi si Totoy or si Totoy yung POV, parang gano'n. Did I miss that? Yun. Tapos, siguro na-point out na nila na ang dami nangyari sa kanya, no? Bigat-bigat ng buhay niya. Diba? Parang, yeah, ang hirap maging si Totoy. Pero at the same time, I'm thinking na he didn't struggle enough in some ways. Parang there were some things na parang ang dali na nakuha. Mababaw lang to, pero kanyari homework, ay schoolwork niya, parang may nakako. Kasi meron talagang line doon, hindi mo siya masyadong nahihirapan. Basta ko parang isip ko, totoo ba? Kasi late na siyang pumasok ng school, ang babata ng mga kaklase niya. So, bakit hindi siya nahihirapan? So, mga gano'n lang na parang, yun. Tapos ito yung, like, later on, di ba, yung with the harassment and everything. Parang, things happened to him, pero he didn't fight. Parang, although, pwede rin naman na yun yung character niya. Pero, siguro, yun lang yung hinahanap ko na parang saan siya mas nag-take control of his destiny somehow. Kasi yung towards the end niya, I'm really thinking na nabigla din ako. Well, hindi naman sa nabigla kasi nabasa ko yung outline. So, I knew what was going to happen in the end. Pero nabigla ako sa progression na bigla siya, yun nga, nagpakamatay na lang siya agad-agad. Na parang hindi ko pa nakita exactly ano yung struggle. Kasi I feel like, maybe it's in the missing chapters, no? Pero parang hindi ko pa nakita what leads a person to do that. There are works naman na about, like for example, more popular right now, 13 Reasons Why, diba? Parang, there are works about, popular, sinabi ko lang popular. Popular ba? So there are works like that naman. Siguro, well, there's another question of what is the author trying to say about suicide or all of these other issues actually. Kasi, yun nga, nami-mention na since the first day, we know it naman, your work reflects your ideology. So what are you trying to say about it? Are you not really promoting it, pero parang justifying, yung mga ganon. Siguro, for me, very careful lang yung sa how does one person get to that point. Because it happens, so we just need to be, honest, siguro, yung journey going there, and sensitive to people who actually went there, or parang, so maybe it requires a lot more, aside from introspection, imagination, syempre, that is informed by research as well. So, I hope that you will have access to that kind of research. Doktora, baka meron kang ma-offer. Yun. So, in the end, siguro, hinahanap ko talaga is, what is the story trying to say? Tsaka, ano yung goal din ng protagonist mo? Aside from just, is it like, he's just trying to go through life? Di ba, marami naman parang, I just want to survive at the end of the day or what I just want to make. So, ano ba yung goal niya? Kasi ang medyo weird lang na kung ang basic is yung to survive, he wants to commit suicide. So parang, yun lang. Yung hinahanap ko kung ano talaga yung goal niya. And siguro, matatanggap ko rin naman yung mabigat na kwento. Pero naghanap din ako ng more moments of lightness and hope every now and then. I think there are glimpses of it naman eh. Like, interested ako sa character ni Beto na, okay, medyo stoner siya, ganyan. Kasi parang, okay, stoner siya, tapos meron siyang mga profound thoughts, gano'n. So, parang interesting siya. Sana mas i-push mo pa yung mga moments eh. Kasi kung mabigat yung nararamdam, yung theme mo, sana may moments of relief kami as the reader. Yeah. So, yun lang. Pero overall, very ambitious and I think it's an important work. So, yun. I congratulate you for it.
Hello.
Reminder yung side na yan ang hindi sumagot, walang merienda. Glenn, okay lang? Sige, thank you, Glenn.
Siguro gusto ko lang erase yung since siya consciousness ng bata. Siguro mahalagang pag-usapan din yung voice nung mismong pagkakasulat. Kasi bilang reader, napansin ko namin na parang kung ako yung maghahanap ng ganitong na kahit na bata or kahit na bata na siya nung nagawa niya itong consciousness na to. Feeling ko parang hindi siya, parang yung pag-aakma nung manunulat dun sa syntax nung tono or nung voice ay mas magandang sa text ko lang siguro pag-isipan. Kasi halimbawa, yung una pa lang na line na araw-araw akong inuuyayin ng aking ina. Parang ako yung magsusulat dito, tapos gusto ko talagang consciousness yung bata. Gagawin ko mas, parang payak na, inuuyay ako ni ina or mga ganong style na. Tapos pati yung mga simpleng, mga paggamit ng tila, mga ganun. Kaya siguro napansin ni Ma'am Angelina, ni Doc, na may pagka-poetic, siguro yun yung dahilan kasi nandun siya sa pagiging lyrical niya na ang nangyayari siguro sa pagtingin ko lang, parang naroromanticize yung mga bagay na tingin ko mas akma dito na magsimple lang yung pagkakasakit.
Ayan. Dagdagan ko yung mga points na I agree, I think it's an important point. Maganda yung paglalapit ni Sir Chu, I agree na yung social reality, talaga namang fatal siya. Bakit if you think about it, talagang pinapatay tayo ng mga material na kondisyon. Parang a big segment of the population, so it's an important word. Pero, fiction is not life, but it's not a direct representation of life. On the other hand, it can be symptomatic or it can represent, like the Risha is the one for respondents, kaya kailangan na manipulate siya. Ano ba ang sisimula? So I think it's an important word. Bakit may reklamo dun sa modes? Kasi parang may metafiction na attempt, pero at the same time, yung tono ay sobrang earnest. Parang earnest na parang walang pang-in-shape, walang June Reyes tono na parang nanduloko. It's really an earnest, melodramatic tone. So parang walang clue kung ang clue lang namin na metafiction, postmodernist attempt ay nandun sa buod, sa project description. Hindi siya lumalabas dun sa mismong boses o dun sa mismong tono ng narrator. So yung tono niya, yung talagang yung Gracias Rosario, early 20th century Tagalog fiction. So yun, so baka pagpaglaruan yung tono, tapos medyo connected doon yung melodrama kasi ang casual, sobrang casual yung treatment na sa lahat ng bagay. So parang ako, bilib na bilib ako sa mga writer na kaya pumatay ng character. So I can't do it. Kasi I can't, hindi siya mag-ang bagay para sa akin. Pero dito, yun nga, parang every other chapter, someone dies. Someone dies, someone just casually jumps off the window, from building, etc. So yun, baka kailangan pag-isipan, no? Yung sobrang cavalier, casual treatment of otherwise serious issues. Dagdagan ko din yung lack of agency din na. Parang things happen to him, no? Things happen to him, tapos medyo walang, medyo powerless siya. Is that a stance that you want to support or sponsor or stand for? Yung ganun powerlessness of individual or the poor or the urban poor. No? Is that, I think that's a problematic position, no? The powerlessness. Kasi yun yan, the mere act of survival is actually a very active position. No? So, ito, yung dulo, kahit na may konting postmodern attempt, no? Medyo defeatist talaga yung dulo. No? Parang just wants to end everything. Finally, also in connection to that, no? I'm not sure if it's only because of my subject position, but the ending didn't sit well with me. Kasi what triggers the suicide is need sex with a gay man, with a horrendously portrayed older gay gentleman. So, of course, that can happen. Pero yun nga, no, that can happen. But at the same time, I think we have to be careful of portrayals of particular segments of society. Kasi that can be dangerous. So, the piece, if it gets published, so, paano pag may isang reader na ito lang yung mababasa niyang nobela sa tanang buhay niya. So the representations of some people, ito lang yung makikita niya, the literary representations of some people. Again, I'm sure there are analogs in real life. Pero ito some sensibilities when we think of portraying certain groups of people in our language.
Hi, DJ. Agree ako sa lahat ng sinabi nila. Mostly. Natuwa din ako. Parang masarap din naman yung basahin ng okay siya. So, for some reason, na-remind ako dun sa isang nabasa ko nung bata pa ako na yung sa kuko ng liwanag. Parang hindi ko tapos parang ano ginagawa ko dito sa mundo na sobrang lupi. Pamiyat din ang nangyayari. Masama, ganyan. Although siguro morbid ako kaya hindi ako sa ganun. So, mas parang may meron din parang, for example, although kasi hindi ko naman nabasa yung ending talaga na chapter. Nakita ko lang sa synopsis. Pero kumbaga, yung kabuuan ng nabasa ko, parang ang pagkaintindi ko nila parang Bohemian Rhapsody na sana din na ako pinanganak eh. Kasi parang ano ba naman kung place. Okay naman siya. Siyempre, madami pang ma-improve. Pero meron akong mga nagustuhan mo na sinulat ni DJ. For example, yung umiti siya, malaki ka to, malaki. Siya nakakatawa na. Para sa akin, humor yun. Di ba? Parang hindi siya attempt na... Wala lang, ganda lang yun. Parang, yun yung sasabihin ng tao na yun. Hindi siya tapos lang din na ganda ng show ko. Na-note ko lang yung nilalagmat na kaluluwa. Kasi ang sobrang malipot siya, masarap yung basahin. Ang ano ko lang pala, kasi maganda naman yung mga comments na so ito na lang yung ibibigay ko. Yung meron di ba si Totoy at saka yung babae na parang kinakapatid niya or Jocelyn, sorry minsan pagpapalit ko sila ng mga names. Kasi ang age nila pang grade 6 talaga. Tapos pumasok sila dun sa pang grade 2 ba? Grade 3? 2. Tama ako. Tapos, meron silang naging kaibigan na kalimutan ko din yung name niya. Basta siya si patay na bata. convince dun sa dialogue niya. Parang, kung talagang grade 2 siya, okay lang siguro kung kailangan niya sila okay. Pero yung pananalita niya, hindi ko yun kayang malapitan man lang kung grade 2 ako. So kahit na dinadrat ako, unless pang super soldier zero yung binibigay sa akin. Pero kung regular drugs, ginugulpi ako, hindi ko kayang maging ganun. Regular drugs, umamayabol, ganun. So, hindi ko, ewan ko, parang ang tindi ng salita niya. Ewan ko, ba? Siguro, basta parang hindi ako convinced dun sa yung linyahan niya, ang kaka niya sa so, goodbye. Thank you po.
Hi, DJ. Hi, Georgie. So, friends. But anyway, for your story, I found that, sorry to be in English, but for your story, it's, I actually had when I read it, I didn't have a difficult time reading. Okay. The fetus, the fetus is narrating about his world and stuff. I isolated to that kind of easily. But being tied, like, I actually even thought that maybe, like, is this a reincarnated soul? Is this some kind of immortal or a divine God put into a fetus to experience mortal life and stuff like that? But it didn't actually amount to anything. It was just a fetus who wasn't born and then, started to live life. I guess, like, as a reader, I would have liked maybe to experience more of the sensory aspect of a fetus, because you made him a fetus. Apparently, maybe you could explore more, like, how the fetus would be able to experience. Because, I mean, physiologically they wouldn't, but since you bring it up, maybe you can explore more into it. Like, what does it mean to suddenly be blank and suddenly have a consciousness, and to suddenly be able to take in your surroundings and it is accept that the voice doesn't change from when it's a fetus to when it's in grade 2, in the body of grade 6, and so on. And then they already brought up the issue about the heavy subjects. I would just hope, I haven't read, of course, the entire story, so there's that allowance, but, like, I just hope that it's not, please excuse me, but I hope it's not like edginess for edginess sake. It's not like buzzword issue of the day kind of like topic that's brought up, and I hope it amounts to something. And I'm thinking, because kind of you said at the end, apparently the narrator changes at the end. Something that comes to mind is like Inception. Apparently the whole thing is a dream. For example, in Inception, and the climax of the movie is they do the heist and everything, and they wake up. But in reality, they were just sleeping on a plane. But my point is, like, I hope that at the end of the story, everything that happens, not only do you see Totoy react and change like others said, but also the effect to the readers. I hope that when they finish the story, they're like, oh, okay, well, all right, and then put it down. Whereas, even though if it does turn out to be a dream, or if it does be narrated by an unreliable narrator mentioned by Doc Angeli, that it has some sort of tangible effect on the reader. Apparently, all of the points that were brought up resonate with the reader in some way. Apparently, he just doesn't say, okay, at the end of it. Because right now, with these issues with these unresolved issues, we keep jumping and jumping, and everybody has all these issues, and they're treated kind of lightly. Apparently, I know in the suicide of Betong, and he jumps off the thing, and then it says there, biglaan kayo, and sumigaw kayo ng tulong or something like that. But in the way that you read it, he jumps to parang paalam. Bye. This guy doesn't have that weight that maybe that kind of incident would have. Apparently, if you guys remember Game of Thrones when Tommen jumps out of the window, it's like, oh shit, and when did this happen? It's just like, hi, So I hope that there is and know that there is a point to make. I just hope it's not edginess for edginess sake, and I hope that it resonates in the reader in a significant way. And for positive, man, if you write this at 15, you know, you have talent. You definitely have like an outside of outside of the box thinking. You're not just a fetus inside the box. You're outside the box. So congratulations, and I hope you don't come across a clown in the gutter.
Time management. Yung mga ang magsasum up ng discussion palagi ko si Jen, si Miguel, at saka andito na si Gome, no? So, para lang makasya yung oras natin. Kasi marami pang hindi magsasama. Jen, okay lang yun? Na yung panelist ay to wrap it up na hindi makita dito ka. Okay, let's go.
Hi, DJ. I'm gonna go back with yung ni Eric. Yun, medyo talagang it's very nice, very poetic. Kaya lang with, medyo parang be careful kasi parang yung language might actually end up glamorizing certain aspects na hindi naman dapat. So, with regards to yung language yung ginamit, dun sa mga grade 2 in particular, even yung mga pag nagsesentimiento sila ng gano'n, hindi ganun yung words, it's not the words they choose to use. Kasi, medyo maintindihan ko pa kung kaedad niya nga sina Totoy, kasi they're older. If he's an 8-year-old kid, 8-year-old kids don't really talk like that. So, parang use a simpler language with regards to yung dun sa ni Beto. Kasi nga, bata siya. And, something, yeah. It kind of reminded me of yung, there was this novel, Daughter of Autumn. It's English translation. It's a Chinese novel. I read English translation. Talagang dark din yung themes niya. With the protagonist, like everything else goes wrong. Pero, may moments na talagang the light was very bright. Hinahanap ko yung pagbalanse kasi it's so heavy. Parang you need something na bakit yung magagandang bagay, para lang makontrast niya yung sobrang bigat na yun. Meron siyang dapat moments na everything was so right, pero sobrang saglit lang. Kasi so far nakita ko, it's all depressing. Parang by that time na desensitize ka na from the beginning pa lang he's already in pain. Parang, towards the, parang if pain is all you're feeling, by a certain point in time, you'd be numb to it already. Na-desensitize ka na. Parang, walang, to quote sa Seki Natsume, yung the first translation na Kusamakura, it's lightness of necessity cast a shadow. It's not the full quote, I can't remember the exact thing, pero parang to have that darkness, there has to be almost equal light, kahit gano'ng kasigit lang. So, para lang medyo mabalance out na relieve yung heaviness. So far, it's going really it kind of drags you down. So, ayun.
Hi, DJ. First off, yeah. Kahit mabigat yung topic, I actually really enjoyed reading it. And, yeah, I don't really read anything, but how much I can have a hard time. Because, not only is the language easy to comprehend, so poetic poetic, so mas appreciate ko yung Filipino in that sense. Actually, yung suggestion ko is more on the issues, yung daming issues na nilista ni Angeli kanina. I think a way for you to maybe reapproach that is to find a way for the problems to intersect. Because right now, Totoy is jumping from one problem to another, but we don't really see how, like in movies na maraming plots, there's a connection kung bakit napunta siya sa problema na yun. So, like, it just happens to him. So, like, what connection led him to that gay bar? Or what connection is parang, how did he find that computer shop? Walang establishments na ganun. And to add to what Jane said about having life moments, I think you can develop more the relationship with this adopted mother and parents and that. Kasi parang okay naman silang magulang kasi they sent them to school kahit mahirap sila. And based on what I've read, parang okay naman yung home life nila kahit mahirap sila. So maybe that can be the loss. Like what triggered the loss? What triggered him to work? At a young age, bigla, maybe he had to provide for his family. So maybe you can add more close to home or personal issues to the bigger issues to make it more relatable as well.
So, ako pala, yung pinahirapan akong pag-isipan yung kasi marami na sabi maganda mga punto, no? Na halimbawa yung kaugnay nga nung pananalita, na grade 2, na nakasindak, dun sa mababasa, di ba? Yan ang yung nakita kong tema talaga, yung kabuuan. Parang precociousness yung isang aspect nito. Kahit nga nung fetus ko siya na nakapag-isip siya, parang precociousness ng sanggol ng mga bata, Karap nila yung dating na hindi gano'ng maayos, hindi maayos. Tapos, yung tema, ng siguro yung isang paboritong tema ng mga, I think there are two kinds of being world weary, There are world weariness ng bata at world weariness ng matanda. Yung world weariness ng bata, yun yung usually, medyo lang sa teenager, Ayaw ko na to, yung bullshit. Pero so parang ganun parang isip mo, pagka teenager ka, I've had it with this, I've experienced everything, Pero which is not true, Pero dahil ganun nga yung isang aspect, ng parang na buhay ng ganyan klaseng halimbawa. Meron din aspect ng world weariness and precociousness, basically, At ito yung dimension nito, yung world weariness ng text nito. It's actually the world weariness of young people, Young people. And it has something to do with also this very precocious. I mean, the writer himself is very precocious. Pero yung kanyang mga characters din, gano'n, At kaya lang, yun yung bata na yun, how would it work? Na yung isang grade 2 ay makasalita ng how would it possibly work? Ganun din yung explico yan, But given certain tropes, in literature, it would work if that guy were evil, maligna intelligence siya, o psychopathic, If that grade 2 guy si Betong were evil, maintindihan mo, he's a talking evil guy, and talks very strange. So, maintindihan mo yun, kaya lang he's innocent, I mean, how could anyone be so world weary and yet innocent? Kailangan merong ganong innocent, and then his world, how does that work? Diba? So, yun yung isip ko ito sa nobela nito. How to make it work, This project. At siyempre, aside from yung siguro ganun mga issues
siyempre kailangan ng konting, siyempre sa usapin na pagsulat nito, may parang ano to, ibigan ng importante para sa issue na lang. Pero yung konting research, ano? For example, yung pagpunta niya sa gay bar, tapos biglang agad-agad, ano na siya, walang pagkahit, ano? Diba? Parang hindi ba po yun? Even such establishments, they have norms, no? Of employment, etc. No? You have to research those things too. Otherwise, it looks like, parang hindi credible, no? Yung nangyayari, ano? So, yung precocity must also live up with precociousness, no? Must also have some kind of grounding, research, etc. No? Kaya nga, isip ko, paano mag-work ang ganitong akda. Kahit para sa akin, walang problema, completely dark, no problem, no? Basta kailangan mag-work yung buong presentation. Ngayon, if you were writing, for example, a poetry cycle about na ganyan, no? Good complaint, no? I mean, you have 12 poems na very dark, ano, etc. I mean, good complaint, no? Kailangan ba ng light, no? Who would look for light in these dark poems, no? Diba? Pero sa kaso nito, yun nga yung balance between innocence and its precociousness and seeming ayun, no? So, I think nasabi ko din yung main point ko na, and even yung passivity is also kind of, because of course, may mga novels, very passive characters, no? Marami nangyayari sa paligid nila, bahagi yun ng idea ng novel. But I don't know if in this case, it's really part of the idea, no? Yung passivity na. Kaya meron parang di tayo ganong komportable, no? Doon sa, parang wala siyang reaction, no? Yeah, so siguro yun lang yung kaya pag-isipan natin is how to make it work. Parang si Jude Cruz ito, kaya supposedly din ang tema ni Jude Cruz in early work. No? Young people with world theory, ganyan, no? Pero there's a lot of humor, irony, in this topic. Diba? So iba yung approach ni Jude.
Actually, ang taas-taas na ng diskusyon, pwede tayong yung oras na pwede tayong mapakinggan natin yung mga basic comments. Ang dami ng mataas, no? So, palagay ko, si Miguel, tataas pa.
Actually, yung comment ko was started naman siya. Okay. Started naman siya. Because I feel like I agree with some of people's comments over there. Because I feel like the author needs to address two main questions in his poetics, or in his writing process. How do you want your reader to read the piece? And like what Sir June says, what bigger picture you're trying to expose by presenting us with urban core narrative? Because in terms of, people have been noticing in poetic language and all that stuff. And someone mentioned na parang it's Sir Glenn Atwater, it's so earnest. And parang the author needs to, the protagonist, the narrator needs to deliver this self-awareness. That's another word that you should know that. Self-awareness about the metafictional style he's deploying and do this via the language. Because currently, everyone has been noticing poetization, poetics and stuff. I think currently it's first person, but then may editorializing siya. And it's a weird combo because when you're first person, you're supposed to be the first person exists to be more immersive, carries the reader, the idiosyncrasies of the protagonist. Yeah. But then we have editorializing. Like each chapter, there's the whole the narrator tries to sink the reader in ang bilis na lahat. Like there was this one chapter that started with that, and it was because it was a chapter that si Beth nasanay siya. So parang editorializing was made explicit, and the author's hand was made more apparent. So parang it took me out of the immersion. And then so parang the two editorializing in first person plus first person makes a questionable project nga. So parang someone mentioned restraint, so parang mag-ingat ka sa not being too poetic. And so yung suggestion ko for that problem is that instead of using first person and editorializing, utilize a third person limited, and then you can try editorializing using that. Because for me, I feel like using the third person limited would be less jarring. Tapos like yun nga, continue I mentioned awareness. Try to deliver this self-awareness about the fact that since you mentioned in your project, it's like, oh, actually, the award si author, pero this is the author carrying on his narrative for him. So I feel like the narrator needs to be aware of that project when he's delivering the story.
Pwede na tayo. Ang dami-dami na nito eh. Hindi ko na nga alam kung asa natalo eh. Hindi, actually nag-lista ako dito ng mga points. Yes, yes. Pagkatapos, balik tayo kay Ellie. Jen.
Wala akong maraming masabi kasi gusto ko siya. Matulong simulan. And sa akin malinaw, gusto na, may pamumulis ako dito, isang tulubin niya, hindi ko nakahanap ng sila. Yung mga tipo ng linya na isang linya lang, pero na-synthesize niya eh. At yun, yung hindi mo kailangan to your face talaga. I don't know, gusto ko siya, no? I don't have problem with nabigat ko yung point ni Miguel. Pero para sa akin ngayon, alam mo, papansin mo, pag nabasa ka ng mga foreign novel, kailangan silang halos pakialam sa, diba? Consistency and all, etc., no? Talagang dinideconstruct na. Pero, may gano ka, no? Kahit nga may mga writers na, lalo na yung mga Latin American writers, no? Primarily narration yung kanilang technique, pero magical kasi yung language and enchanting, no? Kaya may gano ka. Marami ng gano'n, no? So, even yung shift ng POV, no? Ako, okay lang, no? Wala akong problema doon. Sa ulit pagkahulog, I admire na para sa akin ito yung proyekto na, yun nga, no? Nire-resist niya. Parang, the attempt to have an alternative life, I think dito yung imaginative na elemento, no, ng nobela na ito. Sa title ko lang, nakita natin yan. Sa huling pagkahulog ni Totoy, yung redemption. Kaya siguro ako, yung susundan ko dito, yun nga, yung the redemptive na element or factor. I think yan yung filosofiya and politika ng nobela na ito. So now, para sa akin, nasinop yung kanyang pagkakasulat. No? May care sa pagbubuo ng mga sentences and hanga-hanga rin.
Ako, meron lang mga konting like mababang hirit na medyo mas tall sa craft-wise. Kasi meron ako parang parang, shit, mas maganda kung dito sana nangyari. Gago na yung mga mahabang essays sa dialogue na parts. Pero yung punto kasi na parang ako na mabaga ako sa flow kasi parang meron kang chance na mag-flow ka ng dialogue na mas maayos eh. Na mas mapatigil, so mas mayapot pasahe. Kasi yun, lahat sila nakakapunang umusap, yung mga tao nag-uusap. Nabihira mangyari sa itong nagkasalita. Bukod na yung pag-workshop kasi isa-isa tayo pa rin masalita. So yun, tayo mong explore yun, yung parang talaga pag nag-uusap tayo sa batay, o kaya panakanak ang hindi mo umusap, hindi ka bakit, parang may YouTube post. So nakakayo yun. Yung sa diet din, yung mga things yung kahit yung mga adults, meron silang mga sinasabi na parang hindi sabihin ng mga tao. Dun sa normal na complaints ng mga taong malapit sa kanila. Kasi, halimbawa, mag-asawa si Rose at si Mario, ayun ba? Yung, paano ko mag-usap yung mag-asawa na matagal na silang magkasama? Diba? Na meron na silang halos secret language yan. Yung mga taong galing nakatagal yung relationship. I mean, kahit mga kaibigan mo siguro. Mga kaibigan mo na 10 taon na kayo magkakagala, pag nag-uusap mo yung magkakakaibigan sa amin. Kasi meron na mga bagay na nabubuo sa sarili ng operational language. So, yun. At ngayon ko na-realize na yung tema pala ng resistance to death ay nag-exist dito.
Okay. Ito yung mga pwede nyo nang dagdagan, baka kailangan nyo pang linawin. Sa mga comment nyo, paano maggawa ng meta-fiction. So yung mga pwedeng yun yung proyekto, pwede nang mag-comment, magtanong. Lumalabas din dito yung mga iba't ibang boses, no? Boses ng narrator, boses ng character, boses ng psychologist, child, mga gano'n. Tapos din yung kailangan ba ng yung irony, kailangan mag-comic relief yung ending. Plus, ang isa sa mga dito yung how do you handle na yung mga issues like this. Nakita nila yung multiculturalism para din kahapon kung paano itatakil yung depression. Dito naman paano itatakil yung suicide. So kung alagay ko busy kayo mag-bilhin yan ang pagsalita, parang bigil. So si Angeli mo na siguro ang siguro makakatulong how do you handle ba yung kahapon depression, this time naman yung trauma, tapos yung child abuse, paano siya as material and siguro sa kanya naman, paano siya ita-transform into fiction.
So first, dahil nga sobrang dami ng issues, no? What you should consider is about it is how a person would actually react to it. In medicine, ang tawag nga dyan yung there's supposed to be a natural reaction to an illness. So, as a character, Totoy, as a person, how would he react to all of this happening to him? Siguro you can insert medyo na-notes ko medyo lacking yung parang thought process niya about what was happening about it. Does he not seek advice from the people around him regarding yung mga nangyayari sa kanya? Kasi natural lang yung something that happened. What do I do? Is there something I can do about it? Are there people who can actually help me with it? Are there people who have experienced the same thing? That and then siguro I'll touch upon yung reaction niya to the yung nangyari dun sa ending na yung suicide, no? I understand actually kung bakit na-brought up si certain reasons why. Because sa ending kasi, I noticed that parang ine-equate ni Totoy yung suicide to freedom. Parang gano'n yung idea ng ending. Which is something I think you should be considered. It's a very dangerous, parang very mindset. Kasi ang suicide, ang ano kasi dyan, parang I think Jane gave a very good word for it. You're glamorizing this very heavy and sensitive topic na parang so suicide will be the ultimate solution to all of these issues that I'm experiencing. Parang ganun. If parang, ang hinanap ko actually ay parang yung redemption, kumbaga. Is suicide equated to redemption in terms of this story? Kung ganun kasi, parang, and this is supposed to be parang yung alter story niya, no? Na buhay, na our narrator is trying to parang let Totoy live through this story. When in fact, parang natapos na naman dapat yung lahat sa kanyang unang pagkahulog. Parang, is it a life worth living pala? Parang better naman palang natapos na lang siya lahat sa unang pagkahulog. When parang if I live through it, ganito din pala yung magiging ending na buhay ko.
It's so heavy.
So, yung mula sa clinical side, yung nakikita naman din yung what community society ay napaka-powerless. Yung powerlessness, yung reality ng powerlessness. Tapos nakikita naman ni Bome yung dark reality na kung paano. Ito na yung tatlong magkakaibang view na pwede pa nating i-explore. So, si Bome muna pagkatapos. Glenn, ikaw yung susunod natin.
Pasok yun. Si topic syempre, Robert Poe, yung class issue hindi mo pwedeng ma-execute from the psychological aspect. Pero naman, kung depression, suicide, etc. Alam niyo naman yung lagay ng mga nahihirap sa ating lipunan. For example, contractual, political sa contractual, sa mga trabaho, mahirap magkaroon ng aspiration sa buhay, mahirap umasa na umaangat na maraming mga pagkabigo, walang mga resources, di ba? Isipin mo, siguro sa ganyang kondisyon, papakamatay isang tao. Pero hindi napapakamatay. Nagpupo, di ba? Yung proseso nila ay yung buhay nila na nanggaling sa kanyang karanasan ay nagpapatigas, nagpapalakas, no? Sa kanila. Kaya nilang pawan yung maraming mga bagay niya. Hindi sila lumalambot, no? Harap yung marami, no? Dahil wala silang ibang magawa kung mabuhay sa kanyang kondisyon, di ba? Kaya okay, may mga problema tayo, pero yun, iba yung mga pinapasok ng mga trabaho, yung mga trabaho na nakaya, may mga trabaho na mas marangal sa ating tingin. Pero yun, titiis natin, sisikap natin, dahil gusto natin mabuhay. Parang sa kaso niyan, yung instinct for survival is primary. No? And kahit pa yung mga namamalito sa kalsada, mga humingi ng pera, diba? Sabihin mo, sa kondensyon ko dito, papakamatay na ako. Pero sila hindi. Naroon yung, kailangan mapakain ko yung anak ko yung bata, isang bull, pag-isikap ako ngayon, lalabas ako. Diba? Kaya, of course, hindi ko nasabi na walang angst, walang suffering, walang yung ng buhay. No? Pero, kung yung suicide, etc., all those things, they have something to do with high aspiration. You had aspiration. You hope for something. You didn't get there. No, you failed. No? So, minsan, ang isang problem, we might be projecting our class positions on poor people, on impoverished people, no? Na natin I feel a lot of angst in the world, and I rage against the world now, and so world weary, and you project this on the poorer sector of society, who don't have the luxury to do this, not at all. No?
Yes, good.
Ayun, so yung akin po kasi, mahirap na lang, gusto ko na itanong sa mga akta. Ako kasi yung nakuha ko talaga na intention for me, naintindihan ko intention mo as a writer. Sabihin mo na kung tama or mali. Para sa akin, parang ang intention mo ata is bigyan ng boses yung mga taong hindi nasagad ang buhay. Parang gano'n, parang matatapos. Hindi nasagad yung buhay. Kasi yun yung feeling ko intention ng writer na gusto niya, kaya yung sabi yung kay Sir Glenn na powerlessness, gusto niya bigyan ng boses yung tawag dyan, yung mga taong hindi hero type, yung hindi kaya i-overcome yung mountains of problems na nasa harap nila. Hindi kasi lahat nakakaano yung reality, hindi lahat kayang nagpasan lahat ng struggles ng yun. Yun yung na-feel kong gustong bigyan ng chance na may akta na mabigyan ng boses gamit yung kwento niya. Kaya para sa akin, medyo nag-work yun. Kaya, copyright. Ayun eh.
Parang spin-off lang, tama. Jared, paghiram ng mic. Mamaya, hanggang ina-adjust ni Kuya, di pagtasabi ka sa kiraw ng
But taking off from Bowman, ang suicide rate dito sa Pilipinas is quite low. Kaya mataas nga na suicide rate sa Japan. Pero madalas kasi sa klase, mga young writers, may suicide. Diba? So pag nababasa ko ba may suicide, ang una kong tanong, ikaw ba ay survivor? Pakamatay ka na ba ano ka ba? Did you survive a suicide attempt? At sinabi hindi, sabi ko palitan mo yung diba? Hindi kita pakikinggan kasi fake yan eh. Kung sinabi nga, oo, sige, makinig ako sa'yo. Ano yung kwento? Diba? So, yung sa fiction kasi, laging ang action moral eh. May moral action na nakamahalaga yun. Yung moral agency. At even memory. So, hindi. Yung meaning ng akla ay yung isang action. Ano gagawin ng ano. At hindi, yun yung meaning mo. Diba? Kung wala masyadong action, victim ka lang. Right? O victimhood. Parang yung dating, in fact, hindi na nga uso yung dating mga teleserye eh. Na natandang malas mangyayari. In fact, ngayon, wala nang ganun kasi yung audience na, nung bata kami, may yung Torre Luna. Doon sumikat si, Johnny Stradalin eh. Yung araw-araw, hintayin mo kung anong kamalasan mangyayari sa kanya. Ano bang gagawin ni Aguila? And yet, merong attraction din yun. Kaya tumagal kasi gusto makita ng audience. Ano bang malas ang nangyayari dito? So kung wala kang victimhood lang yun, diba? Nagpa-pile up lang yung malas niya, yung so ang pinakamahalaga pa rin yung action eh, yung moral action otherwise, kung suicide lang siya, humihilisin ito. Kasi the whole metafiction naman or abortion, conceit lang yan eh. Conceit lang natin as authors. Ano mo lang yan eh, OA mo lang yan eh, kung anong gusto mong gawin. It's still, so ano yung meaning ng, yes, anong action din? Ano ba ang nangyari? So whether namatay siya earlier, mamamatay siya huli. Or naging cockroach, yun, may Kafka. Ano yung design? Parang minsan pinili mo lang yung pinaka-cliché na nangyari sa movie o sa pop culture o na diba, na event, magic. Tapos magic na naman, nakita ko na naman, parang bakit hindi? Parang cliché na naman yun eh. Diba, nag-pile up na naman yung inuulit mo lang yung mga at wala siya pupuntahan kung may suicide, diba? What else will happen?
Wala nang mga punto. Okay, kaya wala si Roland Tolentino eh. So, palagay ko kung andi dito to, ganito yung sasabihin nun. Kaya hindi ko na nagsasabihin. Anyway, to sum up, kung gagawing diskurso, itong usapan natin dito, nakikinig ako sa mga comments. Ang gaganda, kaya hindi ko naman siya masisynthesize na lahat. Ang project ay yung normal sa panahong abnormal. So kung nakabalik-baliktad na yung norms, na yung abortion ay normal, yung poverty ay normal, yung child abuse ay normal, yung prostitution ay normal. Normal na rin ba yung pag-suicide? So ito palagay ko yung mga bagay na in-interrogate ng writer. Sa dulo, matapos ang mga pagkabag na ito na nagpo-border sa melodrama, ano ngayon ang take ng writer? Anong gusto niyang makita natin? Ano yung take niya sa yung abnormal na paligid na naging katanggap-tanggap to the point na ayaw mo na tignan? At ano rin ngayon ang epekto ng ganitong realidad para sa reader? siguro sa dulo, ang laman nito yung ang daming comments, no? Tinaas ko na ng ganon. Siguro, mula doon, ibibigay ko muna yung microphone para pakinggan natin kung ano talaga yung disenyo, ano yung project na ito mula sa author mismo.
Thank you po sa mga comments and suggestions. Sinadya ko po talaga yung patong-patungan yung mga issues sa isang character lang. Kasi gusto kong salamin ng isang character yung lahat ng nangyayari sa bansa na hindi ka nais-nais. Tapos, bago ko pala sinisimulan yung novel, isip ko na agad yung ending. Kaya siguro hindi ko na napagplanuhan kung paano may connect yung ending dun sa mismong story. Tapos, sinulat ko siya nung 15 pa ako, tapos gusto ko yung idea ng mga panahon ngayon na about sa mga kabawang characters. Gusto ko yung idea na lalokohin yung mga readers. Kaya ayun, ganito yung nabuo kong plot. Salamat ulit sa mga comments.
At siguro, one comment, ganyan naman ang workshop, madaming comment. Para sa'yo, piliin mo lang yung, huwag ka maniwala sa amin lahat. No? Kung alin yung may gamit dito sa project mo, yun yung gamitin mo. Talagay ko rin kung yung sa dami-daming comments na yan, talagay ko kung gusto kayong kausapin dito, so okay lang. Muli, salamat tayo sa welcome, bata. Welcome, Totoy, sa mundo ng mga manonood.